tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello. I always look through friend requests. And they still get through, they'll come through and then 2 minutes later they act like they freaking know you. All right. So your stories. I'm going to give it to the 3-minute mark here. Yeah, probably not many people are going to show up to this one. I didn't spread it out much. I didn't share it much. Something I kind of wanted to talk about. Hello. Welcome. Good to have you. I'm going to get started in a second here. I don't imagine it's going to be too long. Of course, I say that. I may sit here for 45 minutes talking. I won't do that to you. Like, no, I don't want to be here 45 minutes. Are you kidding? No. Do that to me. All right. And then, so we're going to talk about this, but this also begs for us to understand that the road of recovery might be different. Okay. The road of recovery might look different for an alcoholic or an addict. Okay. So we're almost at the 3-minute mark. So let's go ahead and do introductions and get started here. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Yep, Dion. D-I-O-N. Dion Miller. Now you're on Instagram. Hey, Michelle. Just, yeah, if you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. So I know I have 2 people here. It says I have 0. So we don't count on those numbers. All right. So addiction, being an alcoholic and the addiction is different than any other addiction out there. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to single us out, but you need to understand something. As an alcoholic, I was not given a choice. That is the big difference. Okay. Now, I understand there was trauma in our lives. There are things that happened that led us to drug use, to overeating, to gambling, and these other things. But they are not the same as alcoholism. You are born different. We are born without certain things, like the capacity to be honest. Okay? Alcoholics, when we are born, the cards are already stacked against us. Okay? Our behavior is different. Our behavior is different. Now, that does not mean that alcoholics cannot get addicted to drugs. Okay. Here's the big difference. Here's a huge difference. You cannot drink, let's say you're what we call a normal drinker. You cannot become an alcoholic. You can try. but it ain't going to work. You're going to have to it isn't the amount of alcohol that we're consuming. Okay. The alcohol is the solution to what it is that we're going through, which is a very big spiritual malady. Okay. Not anyone can be an alcoholic, but anybody can be an addict. That's the difference. That is the difference. Hi, Gary. Good to see you. I know some people might get, so this is why when people come into AA with something aside from alcoholism, that people start to get a little pissed off. Okay. We feel like you're riding our coattails, man. We don't like that shit. You probably don't like that either. Okay. But there again, AA is also the place where everything started. None of these other A's would be out there if it wasn't for AA. Okay, it had to start with AA. It had to. Okay, let's take fentanyl. Okay, here's a big difference. I didn't like hard drugs. I did not like them. I stayed away from them. I tried them. I tried coke. I've tried a lot of things. Not crack, not meth, not heroin. No. Anything to do with the needle or pipes, shit like that. No. I would stay far away from that. See, I have a shit ton of willpower, but not for alcohol. But not for alcohol. All right. So and I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But I do know that these are facts that are proven, that we were born with this disease. Okay. That means I had no choice. I was not given an option. Okay. Addicts, you have an option. You had the option. I did not. Once alcohol was put into my mouth intentionally, everything changed. And it is hard to describe what happens to us. My whole life changed. Okay, I was transformed into a new person because of alcohol. Yeah. And thank you, Gary. We appreciate that. Okay. And these other A's are just as important. I'm certainly not putting down other A's, man. No. Because addiction's fucking hard, man. Okay. And anybody that tries to change their life, I've got respect for that. I have a lot of respect for that. Okay. But having this knowledge is going to help you out, and knowing this. Okay. So when you go into an AA meeting and they get a little upset because we're off the topic of alcoholism, that is why. We don't understand drugs. Some of us may be drug addicts also, but without the alcohol, none of it would have happened. Okay? None of it would have happened. Okay? And like I said, I don't know the science behind it. I don't, but I know that it's true. And I know that it's true because I'm sitting here. And that's how I know that. Okay. That means that the recovery for an alcoholic is different. It is different. Alcoholics, we should not be freaking coddled when we come into the rooms. Let's stop patting the newcomer on the head and telling them it's okay, because it's not okay. Hey, Amber. Good to see you, honey. I miss you. Just today I'm missing you for some reason. I hope you're doing okay. You've been on my mind, so I hope your day is okay. But to kind of catch you up, Amber, what I was saying is we alcoholics are born with this disease, and we're not given a choice on whether we're going to become an alcoholic or not. We don't have that choice. Okay. It's like being born with multiple sclerosis. You are not given the choice. Okay. Now, my other things that I have going on. PTSD, is that a disease? No, it is a mental illness. A disease and a mental illness are two different things. Okay. My depression, it is a mental illness. Okay. My resentments, that is alcohol. Those are my resentments were the reason I drank. They're just the reasons I drank. Because I was born a selfish, shucking, conniving little shit. I was born that way. Since I can remember, I've always done whatever the hell I wanted. I'm watching my grandson do it now. He doesn't listen to anybody. Like me. I don't listen to anybody. He does whatever the hell he wants to. It makes him happy, right? Hi, Patricia. It's good to see you. Now, that is not to say, because okay, I do not want to depreciate what anybody else is going through at the same time. Okay? Because I have a lot of friends in other programs. Okay? There's a lot of 12-step programs out there. But there's something unique. There's something different, and I'm going to tell you, there's some people that are addicts that would rather be alcoholic. And I get it. I do. Okay. So let's talk about loneliness. See, alcoholics feel a loneliness that nobody else I have found has felt. And again, I'm not depreciating anything. Okay. I've always been lonely. It didn't matter what my parents did. It wouldn't have mattered if I was popular. It would, even if my life was different, it wouldn't have mattered. I still would have felt lonely. Okay. It wasn't until alcohol came along that my life changed. Okay. That was the one big one. The other big one was when God entered my life. Okay. So when we say that sometimes alcoholics are chosen, that's what we're talking about. I was chosen. I was not given a choice. Well, I don't know that. Maybe before I came down, God said, hey, do you want to be an alcoholic? I said, sure, let's try it this round. I don't know. I'm sure I was there, but I don't remember it. Who really knows? Do you? I don't. Fuck, I can make anything up at this point for it, right? As long as it makes sense. Right. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is so that we think a little bit more, okay? Because there's a lot of things in AA that say inclusive, okay? And that's where we can be different. Am I going to always get what I want when I go to an AA meeting at that point? Probably not, but I am always going to get what I need. Okay. Is recovery the same? I can't answer that question. I don't know. You want to know why I don't know? I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a food addict. I hate gambling. I think it's stupid. Right? Ding, ding, ding. Nothing. I'd rather go to a vending machine. So it's how I am. But alcohol, ooh, all bets are off, right? then all bets are off. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about trauma. Okay. This is why we're all here. Okay. There's several people here with a couple of different addictions, and it doesn't matter, right? Because in the end, what are we? What are we? You know, and and there are some people that are dual, so they can talk on this. I am not, so I don't know. So I'm going to take the opinions of other people. I think alcoholism and drug addiction is different, but I think recovery is the same. And we can take that, can we not? Right? If God is the answer, then isn't God the answer? And if we treat all of God's children the same, then isn't that what we do? Okay. So let's let these things stop defining who we are then. Okay. My alcoholism is a disease. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm Dion. Okay. I'm also not a crazy person. I'm Dion. Okay. Alcoholism is a part of my makeup. Your drug addiction is part of your makeup. Now we're all on equal footing, aren't we? Now it doesn't matter who is saying what because we are in recovery. All right. So it does. Well, we're getting answers from people here that have been through it. And isn't that what we're looking for is experience from people that have been there? Okay. So even though the addiction might be different, the cause, the reasoning, what happens up here and what we do out there kind of ends up being the same. I want to see what Kimberly says here. I haven't read it yet. If I'm a normal drinker and drink alcohol, it doesn't mean I will become an alcoholic. If I inject in my body, I will become an addict to heroin. Yes. Yep. Thank you very much. That's what thank you, Kimberly, for putting that in layman's terms for me. I appreciate that. Gary, all addiction comes from some kind of trauma, and the addiction is how we choose to deal with it. Okay. So that is, and that's the definition of addiction. Yes. Okay. But now we all understand that life can sometimes life can bring us to addiction. Okay. And in that sense, we're kind of the same. Okay. So it's hard, man. It is, because as an alcoholic, I kind of want it to be mine. Just being honest here, my friends. I'm a little selfish when it comes to my alcoholism. I went through a lot. I've been through a lot. And sometimes when I go to meetings, I want to talk about alcoholism. And I know that's selfish. Maybe that's a good reason for closed meetings. Okay. Now, at the same time, what if I was an alcoholic and I went to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting and I said, I'm Dion, I'm an alcoholic and started. Do you think they'd be okay with that? No, I don't think that they would. Now, you might be as a person, but as a group, they're not going to be okay with that. Why? Because it's not on, they came there to get direction for gambling, not alcoholism. I don't know the process of a gambling addiction. I don't know that. Okay. So when we share in a particular way. What it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And that's why it doesn't quite fit. Here's another great example. Kimberly and I had a great talk earlier. That's where this started. I never had any trauma in my life, and I'm an alcoholic. My trauma began when I drank. See, it was a little different for Kimberly than it was for me. But as soon as that alcohol came in, Over. It's over with. And that's what we're talking about. Okay. Because isn't a rite of passage when you turn 21 going to the bar? Okay. There's a rite of passage between a father and his son with the first beer, the first drink. Okay. That didn't happen in my family. And there's these things. So that's what we're talking about. So, and I think at this point, I'm beating a dead horse. So I think everybody catches that. So now the recovery portion, right? I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did. But what that means is that we ask more questions. And then, you know what? It's okay to ask questions. You know, you know, I have a friend and she'd been off meth for over 20 years. She's a normal drinker. In fact, she hardly drinks at all. I was drinking. This is a part of my story. I don't tell it very often, but after I went back out, I had 12 years of sobriety, and I went back out, and I got a lot of people sober. Yeah, I was in sales, and I got a lot of people sober. I couldn't get sober myself. I didn't try. I wasn't an alcoholic. So thanks for letting me come on and discuss this and it not turn. I was afraid it was going to turn into a thing, and I really don't. I hate confrontation. Okay, personally, I love peace. I love knowing that the right thing's being done. Um, it's just how I am. And lately, there's been more people coming into my life, like Kimberly, who are reminding me of some of these things that need to be done and talked about. So there we go. I do have an answer. Kimberly's been around longer than me. She also has more experience. I'm going to tell you something. It was nice meeting somebody who has a better bullshit detector than me. Okay. And don't let her tell you any different. She's awesome. All right. All right. I'm not going to tell her story. It's not for Kimberly. I meant to ask you if you tell your story while we were on the phone, but we got into everything else. The recovery is the same. The AA 12 steps are a way of life. Anyone can have a better lifestyle just following the steps. Thank you for answering that. Now we have our answer too. All right. That's cool stuff. So, but Kimberly, think on that, please. If you're willing to come on and tell your story on the podcast, I want to get back to podcasting. I miss it. In fact, if I would pick one thing out of, certainly, you just let me know when you're ready. I never rush people into it. It's when people are ready, and maybe you don't know me well enough yet, which I can appreciate. I love it when people are like, you know what? I want to get to know you a little bit and think, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. That's what's great about the podcast. It is done in God's time. It doesn't have anything to do with me. And I think that's why I want to do it, because it doesn't really have anything to do with me. There's nothing cooler than taking somebody else's story and watching them do such a great job at it and watching all these other people get something out of it. And I just get to sit back and watch. And it's pretty cool. I get a lot of gifts for this, and none of it's money or material. I love you. Yeah, that's a good point, Patricia. That's it. Maybe all human being has some disposition to become to have some sort of mental disease. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Everybody keep up the good work, man. I love you all. I really do. Peace out and have a great Sunday.